Hello, this is Dee from the Fishing Gardeners, back at it again. So I just wanted to talk to you today about gardening, fruit tree gardening, gardening in general. Okay, so as far as gardening, no matter where you're at, what state you're at, what zone you are in, make sure when you're gardening that it's a joy to you, okay? Your garden will not be like anybody else's gardening. Garden to your personality. And what I mean by gardening to your personality is some people may be busier. Some people may have to take care of kids. Some people may have full farms. Some people may work 12, 16-hour jobs, and you want to do just a little bit of gardening. Some of us are in different zones, and some of us are, even if we're in the same zone, don't mean that we can garden the same, okay? So it's good to reference YouTube for some of your gardening ventures, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your garden. And nobody can tell you how much to put into your garden but you. So with that being said, the lessons I've learned as a beginning gardener is don't overwhelm yourself. And what I mean by that is don't look at somebody else's garden and wish your garden looked like theirs, because you don't know what they've been through to get their garden to where it's at, how many years they've been growing their garden, how much money they spent on their garden, their zones. Even remember, you could be in the same zone, don't mean you can grow the same things that other people can grow in their garden. I have lots of examples of that because I know people that have beautiful fruit gardens. They can grow certain things in their garden that I can't grow, and I can grow certain things in my garden that they can't seem to grow. Okay, but we're in the same zone and almost in the same areas. Okay, because you got to look at how the weather goes in your yard, where your garden's situated, where's your house situated, how does the sun flow in your area. Okay, do you have a wind vacuum? Our garden, we have a lot of wind when it comes to wintertime, springtime, and when it comes to hurricane. So though we don't necessarily get the craziness of the hurricane, we definitely get the strong winds. So we have to put that in mind. The sun beams straight down into our garden. Some people have more shade than others. Some people garden differently. We like to garden with pot and in ground, okay? Because our whole backyard was full of leveling sand, so we had to do a lot to even get our garden to where it's at. Now, be that as it is, when you grow some things in pots, remember, fruit trees get root bound, so you have to move them up. You can keep them in there, but you may not see no fruits. So make sure that you remember that if there are big trees that really need to go in the ground, can you grow them in pots? Yes, but you have to do more controlling in pots. You got to make sure you're fertilizing more. Also, if you don't feel like moving them out of the pot, you have to turn around and dump more soil in there, right? Because when they start getting root bound, that's because they need more soil and they don't have no more room to grow. You're going to have to up-pot it. You're going to have to do something. So make sure you're going to be up on that. Also, for us, we garden very, very early in the morning, so we don't have to deal with the Florida heat, okay? Some people may garden later in the evening, but we're very early morning risers. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have almost everything done. By the time it's 9 o'clock, I'm done. I'm not out here every single day, but I am out here every other day to check on the trees to make sure everything is where it needs to be. Like I have some things, as you can see, are in the ground, and some things are in the pot. I will not have any root bound fruit trees. So we are very good, my husband and I are very good in potting fruit trees by the way they grow. And we have some very big pots. And when we get our pots, we get them at the flea market. So though the garden may look like we spend a lot of money, majority of the stuff we got from the flea market or the dumpster. We do a lot of dumpster diving. Now, of course, there's no dumpsters that I'm actually diving in. I'm talking about You're living in Florida's residential areas, and people are, maybe they decided to stop gardening. Maybe they putting this away, that away. They don't want it anymore. Whatever the case may be, somebody may have passed. It may be having an estate sale. All of the stuff that you see we have, majority of this came from a dumpster, and we refurbished it, or the flea market, where it barely cost us any money at all. Okay, I'm on a budget just like everybody else. Okay, do not have money. Look at these beautiful, I don't know if you can see those Barbados cherries. Okay, so also to save us a lot more money, we got fruit trees that we can multiply on our own. And what that's saying is, like the Barbados cherry, right? We got these and we multiplied them on our own versus going to buy 3 trees, buy one clip and bring them across because they grow so quickly. So make sure you do your research. Don't just look at people's on the YouTube channel and see what trees grow very quickly, what trees you can multiply on your own, depending on what you're trying to do. I can see right here, there's some bugs on that cherry, which I'm going to have to take care of that with the spray. And what I mean by spray is to spray some water on it, because I don't want to use other sprays, because once again, you know, that's spending money. Okay, I just had to spray those bugs off of there, and I hits it with water. I don't know if you can see the type of bug it is. I don't want to get too close to it, but I'm going to go ahead and pick a lot of them cherries. I like to wait till they get darker, but sometimes you got to get what you can get. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, you know, get trees that, if you want to, you know, if you have a big yard and you want shade or whatever the case may be, get trees that you can multiply yourself. Like, for instance, this Pakistani mulberry. You know, of course, I got seedlings, and I'm not seedlings, actually, because I haven't gotten any mulberries yet, but I just clip a branch off, and I go ahead and put it inside a pot. It grows, and then I put it in the ground, and that's how we multiply ours. Okay, so a lot of the stuff that you see in my garden, these bricks and stuff, these are things that I painted myself. Me and my husband actually painted. And basically, a lot of people, they're throwing these things away. And as far as the paint, you know, you can go to Lowe's and somebody bought some paint. They don't like the color, they bring it back, and they sell it to you for $6. So I can tell you that paint will go a long way in coloring the things that we color. As you can see, rocks and all. So when we start putting things together, okay, it's not a lot of money. You know, and it doesn't go overnight. All of this stuff right here, these little tables, they were $1 each at the flea market. And then my husband makes a lot of these trellises. Okay? This is that Pakistani that I was telling you about. That came from that big tree. You know, it was a little limb, and now it's the size it is. Okay, so, you know, I'm just getting to you as far as gardening. You know, your garden's going to be yours. Don't stress yourself out in gardening. Don't over garden, over garden. Make sure that you are researching the trees for your area. Okay, especially you beginning gardening. I'm talking to beginning gardeners. I'm not talking to people who have been gardening for 10 or 15 or 20 years. Everybody had to start somewhere, and I'm still beginning. I'm talking about beginning gardeners, and I'm letting you know the good, the bad, the ugly, you know. So you want this to be, you know, a peaceful gardening for you. You want to be able to be out here handling it. Some people will put all their trees in the ground. Some people will do some pots or some trees. However you want to do it. Don't let somebody tell you it's wrong the way you're gardening in your garden. Okay? Because nobody can tell you how you're going to grow your trees, right? They can give you some information on what they've done, right? But they're not in your backyard, right? They don't have your family or whatever you have to do. You may have a whole lot of other things that you have to do as far as taking care of your family. You may not have as much time as they have to do all these type of things. So start small so that you can enjoy it. Make sure that you study the trees, research them, how they grow, if they're going to grow fast, Think about that before you buy the tree and put it in a pot. Are you a person, or do you have somebody to help you pot these trees? Because my husband's very good in helping me pot these trees. I would not be able to pot these trees without him. And seeing that, if I couldn't pot these trees without him, or if you don't have somebody to help you pot these trees in the big pots, maybe you want to think about, do you really want that tree? Okay? Because you have to go through a whole lot of work on it. So what we can put in the ground, we will, and what we can't, we can't. I'm not going to waste my time worrying about what I can get in the ground, because other people can grow with theirs in the ground. That's really not my concern, because I'm doing my garden here, and everybody else is doing their garden there. To me, there's no right or wrong way to grow your trees. You grow them how you see fit, how they're going to prosper. And for me, we began with little stumps and sticks. We're doing very well for beginning gardeners. Very well. So, I just wanted to bring that to you. Gardening does not have to be hard. It does not have to be stressful. But make garden to your personality and what you like. And don't worry about what everybody else have. Also, try to grow towards your zone when you begin gardening. When you get more experience in gardening, then you can move to other trees that don't necessarily do good in your zone, because you'll have more experience in gardening, versus frustrating yourself when you first start gardening, putting trees in your zone because other people were able to grow them that have been growing trees for years. Look at those papayas. Wow. I didn't expect this tree to get this big right here, I expected it to stay like this size as the other one. But, you live and learn. Yes, so, grow to your garden. Grow to the size of your garden. Don't let yourself become overwhelmed. And don't listen to the naysayers of letting them tell you what they're doing in their garden. They can help you by, but they can't really tell you what's going to grow in your garden. People have never even been in your garden. How can they tell you what's going to grow in your garden, especially when you don't even know what's going to grow in your garden? But once you start learning, we had to take trees and we put them in the ground, trying them. They didn't work. So we took them and put them back in the pot. They worked. Okay? So that's a learning lesson for us, We're not going to stand there and let the tree die. It wasn't working in the pot, in the ground. And we put it back in the pot. So we started off with the pot, put it in the ground. Now, we don't just do that in quick whatever. We'll wait 8 months and we'll look and give it a chance. But once we see the tree dying and not even thriving, and it's a fast growing tree, we're going to go ahead and put it back in the pot. And as soon as we put it back in the pot, it starts thriving. It just didn't want it in the ground. And I'm not going to force the issue, right? Nature's nature. You can't fight nature. Okay, so just bringing you this video on growing fruit trees, or in gardening in particular. And another thing I wanted to tell you is the reason why I like to garden like this, okay, is because I don't care if snakes are beneficial to the garden or not. I don't like snakes. And not many females probably do like snakes, but I'm just not one of them, okay? So no, I ain't got to be killing them or nothing else, but I don't like snakes. So by me spacing out my garden, when I step out of my porch, right, I can look in, I can get a visual and see, rather than me be scared out of my wickies because of the snake. And what I've seen, there's black races, and it doesn't matter if they're poisonous. It doesn't matter if they're going to bite or whatever they're going to do. It doesn't matter if they're beneficial. They can do what they want. I just don't want to be frightened by a snake. And for all the people who tell you shouldn't be frightened by a snake or should address your fears, well, guess what? We all have fears. And I can guarantee you can't conquer every single fear that you have in your life. You just can't. Okay? So I'm not going to waste my time worrying about all of that, because I'm me. So basically, what I'm going to do is plant the way I plant so I can see it, scare it away, and it can go about his business and I can go about mine, versus me come out, stick my hand in something, and then I see something. So that's the reason why I plant so spaced out. That's why you see my stuff so spaced out. And I'm actually about to get ready to stop this video and finish cleaning up my garden, because I got to clean up some areas because they're a little congested. So I like to be able to see. Okay? Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's informative and give you something to think about. And if you like the content, go ahead and hit that notification button. Go ahead and subscribe so you can get more videos that I download each and every week. And hit that like button. Have a blessed day. Goodbye.